Hey guys, and welcome back to another Valorant video. So today is a little bit different. Actually, it's very different. I'm excited and nervous because it is a completely different style of video that I've never done. But as you can tell by the title, scrapped agents that didn't quite make it into Valorant. This is scrapped agents, scrapped abilities, a lot of things that went through a development but didn't make it out the other side. Just to be clear on the sources here, a lot of these are data mined files and leaks that were then later confirmed by the ex-lead designer Morello to be stuff that were scrapped during development. So all of this information is completely legit. And I guess before moving forward, I just want to say that Morello, he was an integral part of the design team for League of Legends and then moved on to Valorant. And after 10 years, a whole decade, he's decided to leave Riot for a new chapter in his life. So before we move forward, just wanted to say a big thanks. He's done amazing work in the gaming industry, but yeah, anyways, moving on with the video. So our very first scrapped agent would be Crusader. So Crusader is the name of an old agent concept that was later on reworked into Breach. Now, before you think that's super lame, they were so different. I mean, it wasn't even a rework. They were so different that Morello himself said that he would consider them two different agents. Crusader featured a shield type ability, including a riot shield and a sword, as well as a flash grenade. So yeah, a sword. Anyways, sound effects of a slash, a shield throw, and the grenade flash were actually all data mined and then later ran by Morello, who confirmed that they were indeed for Crusader's early prototype. Now, the very first ability might be the one that's most speculated. It would be actually the sword that Crusader would wield. Now, how would a sword work in Valorant? I'm not too sure. However, I would love to see it at some point in the future. I'm not sure if it would be like some super overpowered knife that would one-shot no matter what, or maybe it would deal AoE damage in a cone, or maybe when you use the knife ability, you'd kind of dash towards them, kind of like Genji from Overwatch, if you just dash towards them using the melee. Not too sure how they could make a sword user in Valorant, but it sounds kind of awesome, and I would love to see it. Crusader's second ability was Flash Grenade. It would be similar to Breach's Flashpoint, or I guess it would be more so like Breach's Flashpoint and Raze's Grenade had a baby. It would just be a straight up CSGO flashbang that you could throw, bounce off walls, and, you know, it's a flashbang. I don't have to explain anything. The last thing would actually be the ultimate, which would be called Riot Shield, and that would be the infamous shield that everyone freaked out about when they thought that this was actually a leaked agent and not a scrapped agent. Riot Shield would be an extremely tanky shield that Crusader would equip just to become incredibly tanky and would be able to absorb a ton of damage and also absorb damage while planting the bomb. It's like, imagine a shield protecting you as you are planting the bomb. I'm not too sure how big it would be, but it was rumored to actually almost be like a barricade for the team. So I think it would be big enough to protect not only her, but as well as her teammates. Just imagine Crusader popping an ultimate and blocking 3 teammates as they're like using the operator down long. That's just insane. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this scrapped agent does remind me of Brigitte from Overwatch, who also uses the shield, has a stun, and does melee damage up close, but also a little bit of Reinhardt because the shield was rumored to protect your teammates. And man, I can't get over that fact. Just pop in a shield and just choosing a site just to march down, just to take over a site. That's insane, and obviously it was scrapped because it makes perfect sense. I would love to see the sword though. Shield, not so much. Moving from there, number 2 would be Shatter, and man, this guy looks cool. So Shatter was actually the prototype for Phoenix, and unlike Crusader, which was the prototype for Breach that basically shares absolutely nothing in common, the prototype Shatter, which was for Phoenix, actually shares a ton of properties, but with a different design philosophy. Let me explain. So one of Shatter's abilities would have been a pop flash, actually very similar to Phoenix's flashbang to allow him to turn corners very safely. We don't really know what it would have looked like, and it was rumored to have different properties, but regardless, it was supposed to be some quick flash that allowed him to get through. Another ability would have been some sort of grenade, which not only disoriented players, but would actually also damage them. So One of the abilities planned would both stun or disorient as well as damage, and this one's kind of hard to wrap my head around because I'm not too sure what it would have looked like. I'm kind of imagining, based on how he looks, it would have been some sort of crystal grenade that you can throw, similar to maybe like Killjoy's, but once it lands, it immediately makes some AoE damage and disorients people within the zone. That's the best I could think of, something like a Killjoy grenade, but it's not activatable, it just turns on the minute it hits something, and maybe shaped like a crystal. I don't really know, but it would have been kind of crazy to see something that disorients and does damage. However, from there, the most interesting and I guess unique ability would be his decoy or clone or something of that sort. So it's obviously his ultimate, and you know how Phoenix leaves behind that little fire spot? I don't know what to call it. His like respawn area, and then he goes forth almost as if he's a clone from himself, but when he dies, he spawns back at the location he ulted. I think what Shatter would have done is pretend instead of a fire circle, it would have been some sort of crystal circle, and he would become a clone. This clone could then move forward, and I don't think the clone could die, but the clone could also not do damage. So it was literally all about playing trickster, about playing mind games with your enemies. You'd run through, maybe run across a door really quickly, or shoot at them a little bit as if you missed and then run away, and you would lead them towards maybe, you know, a fake push on a different site, or as if you're flanking on the opposite side, or maybe as if you're fake rotating. The possibilities are basically endless here. However, there was a key element to this decoy. The Shatter could actually explode on command. So you could use this decoy, run up to someone, and then make it explode, which I assume would do damage. There's no reason for a second tier on the ability unless the explosion does damage. So where are we getting at here? Well, Riot makes a game called League of Legends, and this sounds a lot like Shaco's ultimate. Not gonna lie here. Makes a clone, you can use it to go forward, distract people, and then it explodes, but in this case, it is on command. I can only imagine the possibilities. Now, in my opinion, a cloning ability, yes, please. I would love to see something like this in the future. Anything where we can play mind games on the enemies. I'm not too sure how they would balance it. I don't know if it would be too strong. I really don't know the logistics. I'm not a game designer, but from a player's standpoint, hell yeah, sounds fun. Our third agent is Joule, and she is quite the interesting one. So Joule is the name of the scrapped agent herself. However, her abilities were kind of split up into a few different things. So Joule had a blink ability, which became Jet's Tailwind, a Seeker Bolt ability, which became Sova's Owl Drone, and a Shock Grenade, which could be a separate ability, or it might have become Killjoy's Lockdown, which is her ultimate. There isn't really any full description in the leaks only go so far, so we only have rough ideas here, but there's a lot of cool visuals as you can see on screen. So Shock Grenade here looks like a big barrel, and I think it's what we became Killjoy's Lockdown. Joule would go into a certain area, drop it off, and then it would explode, which would then maybe disorient everyone or maybe shock them. I mean, it really does. There's even the little label there, electric shock. So I assume it literally was 1-to-1 to what Killjoy's ultimate became. On the flip side, some of her other abilities weren't just copy pasted, kind of like Killjoy's ultimate, but more so completely reworked and were very, very different. So Joule's Seeker Bolt might have become Sova's Owl Drone, but Sova's Owl Drone is manually controlled, while this one may have been automatic. So you would have thrown it in and then it would have found the nearest enemy. Kind of like the new agent coming out, Sky, who has an ability where she throws out, I don't remember what animal, or are they even animals? I don't really know. She throws out those seeker things and they follow and seek someone. So I think it would have been something like that. However, maybe it would have actually tagged onto them and then blinked maybe 3 times to show the enemy location more closely to Sova's Owl Drone. When it comes to blink, it's not really stated what kind of blink. It might have been an instant teleport from, you know, something maybe like Tracer from Overwatch. I think it would have been something more like that, considering how her abilities are kind of tech related, or maybe it would have just been a fast acting dash, or maybe it would have been a wall phasing ability. Here is where our imagination runs wild because leaks kind of end. We only know that there is a blink ability, and that's way too broad to discuss, but I would love to think that it's something very different from Jet. Alright, last but not least, as a bonus while researching about these different agents, we also found a scrapped ability that Killjoy was supposed to have. There's no real description and the leaks only go so far, but we do have artwork and it's kind of up to our imagination again, but I think I might have an idea. So, much like Raze's Boombot, I think it would have moved maybe like that. Maybe it wouldn't have bounced, maybe it would have swerved, but I think we can imagine it being Raze's Boombot, but for utility. Maybe it would have jumped up and revealed the target, maybe it would have just impaired them, maybe kind of like her ultimate, kind of like electrocute them, not too sure, but it was another secret ability, and it kind of goes to show that Riot has been really wanting to add a secret ability, right? This is the Killjoy version. Earlier we talked about the little dart that would have followed them automatically, and in the end they settled with, I think, what's coming, which is Sky's ability in the future, and even before that, right? With Spike Rush we had Twin Wolves, which also are a secret ability, so I guess from the early stages, Riot just knew that they liked the idea of something that seeks out the enemy, and they've been trying to add it in different ways. But yeah, that's gonna do it. That's a lot of information, and I think a lot of juicy stuff that hopefully some of them you guys have never heard about, some of them you probably have, but regardless, if you guys did enjoy this video, enjoyed the editing, the commentary, let me know in the comments down below, and if you disliked anything, just have at it, you know, you're not going to hurt my feelings, or maybe you will, but that's not a big deal. Let me know so I can improve it in future videos, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.